Hello, and welcome to another daily devotion. As this week we talk about heaven, and C.S. Lewis writes in I can't remember which book it is that uh, people of faith who do the most in this life are ones who have their eyes set on the next life, who don't believe that this is all there is, and because of their belief, there's more yet to come. They aim for heaven, and when they miss the mark, they hit the earth. But if you're just aiming for earth, then you'll never reach high enough to hit heaven. It's an interesting take. I'm not sure I agree with Lewis on that score. I agree with a lot of things he writes and really treasure him. But to me, there's almost too much of a looking forward to heaven. I'm saved now. When I die, I'm going to heaven. So I really don't have anything to do here, and I can just do what I want. And the thrust of Jesus's ministry is, you hear it in the prayer. Pray, thy will be done here, now, in the moment of human history, in a way that mirrors as it is or is divine to be in heaven. In other words, the thrust of the work of being a follower of Christ is the here and now, the living of these days. It's not dreaming heavenly dreams. It's how do we bring heaven value, joy, peace, love in this moment in human reality. I think almost, again, the opposite of Lewis, that so many people have their heads in the clouds of what could be in heaven, that they live lives that don't reflect Jesus very much at all in the now. So it's a reward, and everything is motivated not by genuine care or concern, but by the motivation that I'll be rewarded if I do this. So it's maybe a little less genuine than it could be. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about is the Beatitudes. Blessed are the poor in spirit, or as Luke says it in Luke chapter 7, compared to Matthew chapter 5, blessed are you who are just poor. Blessed are you who are hungry or thirst now, for you will be well fed. Blessed are you who weep now, for you will laugh. And when people hate you or persecute you. So it talks about the reality that life in this world isn't equal, even by accident of birth. Not all children are born into a loving household with two parents who call them by name, who love them back, who care for them. Some of us come in this world only with one parent around, or both the parents have flown the coop and are raised by a grandfather, grandmother, or aunt or uncle, or by somebody who has adopted us, who is not related to us by the birth genetically at all, but become a mother or father figure to us. And so all things aren't equal, even when we take our first breath. The neighborhoods we grow up in, the schools we have access to, or healthcare. And so what I want to say here is, while we're called to be a blessing and live it out, Luke's gospel is referred to as something called the Great Reversal, that if this status quo of how things are in the world today is not definitively how it will be. You see it all the way through Hebrew scriptures, and I'm going to get off my soapbox because I'm going to talk forever if I keep talking. But you see it all the way through the Bible, that God cares about the marginalized. God cares about those pushed to the sides. God cares about those who are hungry or orphaned or widowed or hurting in some fashion. And humanity, despite our kindergarten lessons to share and treat each other kindly, don't. And there are still so many who are hurting, falling through the cracks. We don't share. We don't take care of each other the way we could. It's not that there's not enough food in the world, right? It's that we don't have the will and haven't taken the effort to do so. And so in the end, Jesus says, there's more to this. Heaven is God's promise that injustices will be made right. Pain and suffering that you know in this life will cease. And it only gets better, like a fine wine. It's much better the further along the path of life you go, beyond the shadow of death. That's the promise. In the meantime, there's a lot to do to reflect that kind of beauty in the here and now. So heaven can wait. I think as the old song goes, we got work to do right now.